Time now to turn to some business news. We're joined on set for that by Stephen Carroll. Stephen, you've been looking at the new forecast for the French economy and how this latest lockdown is affecting it all.
It's a relatively optimistic forecast from the French Central Bank. It's expecting the economy to grow by 5.5% this year, despite this April lockdown. And that's because that's above, I should say, the forecast being given by the French Finance Ministry and the forecast for the Eurozone in general, which is only predicted to grow by 4.4% this year. This comes after the sharp contraction we saw in the French economy last year, shrank by over 8%. The governor of the French Central Bank saying this morning it'll be mid-2022 before the economy is back to where it was before the pandemic.
Okay, so that's a longer term forecast, but what sort of effect has this latest lockdown had on the economy now?
So the Banque de France in its studies has found that there has been a level of resilience built up in the economy over the past year. In April 2020, at the height of the first set of restrictions, economic activity slumped by 31%. That's compared to normal levels. This April, it's expecting the hit to be much milder, just a 7% drop in economic activity compared to normal pre-pandemic levels. And that's partly due to how certain sectors which were closed last year have been allowed to remain open during this lockdown. We can think about things like the essential shops list, which gets longer and longer, hairdressers, bookshops, record shops now on the essential shops list as well. So there are sections of the economy that are able to work as well. Of course, activity has slumped in sectors like hospitality and accommodation, which are practically almost totally shut down.
Indeed, French industry being hit by shortages of key supplies due to it all.
That's right. Industrial production in France was down by almost 5% in February after a strong start to the year. And economists say that's because factories and the construction industry are running short of key materials, from microchips to wood. Catherine Viette has more.
France is in need of electronic microchips, as well as wood, paint, and even steel. This sudden shortage is affecting the whole manufacturing sector, from cars to construction, and has French companies using up their stock to keep production going. Part of the problem, strong demand for raw materials from China and the United States, which leaves France struggling to compete. In response, French companies ended up cutting their production by 4.7% in February. In addition, the harder it is to get the raw materials, the more expensive they become, and that will get passed on to the consumer. This builder explains.
This is PVC flooring. The raw material has increased 40%. It's become rare.
Higher prices also for some metals.
The raw material is up more than 10%.
And wood, too.
In some cases, we're seeing a 20% increase.
This builder expects the price of new housing to rise considerably.
When you plan to build a house and that during construction you're told that it will cost more, it's not that easy to pass those costs on. It's obvious that for part of these increases, we'll have to bear a small part of the costs, but unfortunately our customers will have to do so as well.
The building sector estimates that shortages could end up delaying ongoing construction projects.